Go.
This fly, I use squirrel tail, and it really looks similar to a Bob Triggs fly. And I actually called Bob up because I didn't want to offend him, and he looked at it and said, no, just it's not, so don't worry about it. So I cut a little length of squirrel tail. Now I'm going to take this stuff called minnow body, and this is what Doug Rose used. He loved this material. And it's just really challenging to work with it. But just like the other dazzle tail dazzler, you grab a clump of it. Okay, you see? You grab a little clump, and I stretch it tight, and I'm going to clip it off right there. And I'm going to use the piece, the end that I clipped, because I like the way the fibers are looking there. So I'm going to reverse it in my fingers. Okay. Some of these artificial materials are so hard to work with. Okay. Now, to me, that's kind of a nice length right there. If I can look at it like that and go, yeah, that's good. So I'm going to tie that. I'm going to pinch it with my left hand, switch hands. I'm going to go up. I'm going to pinch the thread, and I'm going to reach under, and then I'm going to raise my bobbin up, so that when I raise the bobbin up, it tends to pull more even. Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay, and then we're going to look at that big strand, get out of there. Okay, good. Holy crap, what a mess. I watched Enrico Puglisi, EP Fibers. I watched him tie recently at that fly show, and he takes those fibers and he just ties like a mad Italian. And yeah, and he just grabs them and manhandles them, you know. But he's tied tens of thousands of flies. I begged him to give me one. He wanted me to buy it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Tacky bastard.
No, I was.
No professional courtesy.
No, and I said, hey, we just spent $60. He goes, so what? Everybody spend a lot of money. But he did. Guilted him into it. Okay, so, again, I forgot to do my little back wrap just in case the thread should fail, or it's just a security. It's like the Cajun, any of you guys ever remember the Cajun chef on TV, Justin Wilson?
Yes.
Remember Justin?
Guarantee.
Guarantee. They asked him once why he wore suspenders and a belt. He said, I ain't taking no chances. Same thing with your materials.
He used to make the most horrible food.
I know. But you know, he was one of the first. Now, you could fish that fly just like that and probably catch as many fish as the guy who's paying more money for this fly. All right, and now I'm going to lay my hair just maybe a little bit farther, not much, just extending just past the UV minnow belly.
What kind of hair is that? We missed
This
that.
is, oh, I'm sorry, in the rewind, this is squirrel tail.
Red squirrel?
This is red squirrel. I prefer gray, but I'll try fishing these. And who knows, maybe the red will work just as well. Okay, not bad though, see? I kind of like that.
So it's just shorter than the UV. I mean whatever they call it.
You know, I don't think it makes any difference,
Okay.
but if you look at the longest fibers of the fox, or squirrel, it's a little longer than the UV.
Oh, it is, okay, because it's cut off at the edge of
Yeah,
the
I didn't mean to correct you, Dave,
No,
but,
but you can correct me anytime,
You know.
I'm usually wrong.
okay. All right, so I'm going to take two wraps,
That's incorrect.
and when I trim this, I don't trim it all at once, because I want it to try to go around the cone a little. I'm not worried about that little nubbin, because I always finish this fly off with a little bit of I love this material. This is the hairline ice dubbing. You can use pheasant tail. I've got some olive somewhere. I also tie them with purple, and one guy wanted it with a little bit of blue. apparently they all work. Same thing, remember with this material, we're gonna take a little pinch, we're gonna just take a little bit of a pinch and stretch it out a little. Stretch it out a little. I'm gonna dub it. I'm lucky, this batch is a little finer and it's dubbing a little nicer than some of them. Okay, just hold your materials out of the way a little. Take one wrap, tighten it, another wrap, another wrap, and that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, is it?
How's that look from there?
So it looks good, but so you actually don't bother cutting that squirrel tail too short behind the cone, you just dub over the top?
It's really hard to.
Okay,
Those squirrel fibers down there are almost as bad as deer down at the butt
trying
ends.
to get, yeah, trying to
You
get
know,
it, okay.
even with the really sharp eye surgeon's tool, it's still hard.
I regret to be sure.
And that may be why when I got the first one, maybe that's why they used it. But I like the collar. I think, and you know, Triggs's minnow, Triggs's chum baby has a what do you call it, a
Collar.
collar, and the collar is made out of peacock. So, okay, what I'm gonna do, same thing here, and then we'll be done. How can I lose stuff in this little tiny area?
That's what I asked myself the other day.
You're old. I was just gonna say, 20 years ago, you didn't lose stuff so fast.
Should have.
It's all right, we're all in the same boat, my
I
friend.
know. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit, you know, make one or two wraps, and then I'm gonna put a little more glue there, and I'm going to, oh, cross over. Oh, you bummer! It's coming apart. There we go. Oh. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll take my brush and brush that little bit of ice dubbing out. That's another nice thing about those longer fiber dubbings is if you mess up a little and don't get it exact, you take your, I found it, you take your,
Oh, yeah, it works very
Your
well.
eyeliner brush.
yeah, see, it just, you know.
Yeah, it looks great.
And you know, in the water, that's all just gonna kind of, that's a very effective fly.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Easy to tie, materials are reasonable. I would spend the money on the hooks, because those gamakatsus, you see the big wide gap there? Man, when you get a good bite,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You-
Oh, that's
you know.
really good.
so that's the reason to spend the money.
And for what kind of fish?
This size, silvers, and if you run into kings, they're gonna take it too, because it's a small bait fish. If I'm fishing for salmon, I might even make the tail a little long, or the topping a little longer, the wing, but it doesn't have to be. And I use the next size down. This is a size 2 Gamakatsu SC15. For cutthroat, which I carry in my box, I use the same SC15 in a size 4. You know?
Any of the trout will eat that.
Oh, this is, you know, if I was gonna fish this for a trout, I might even use the bead head then. And it's a lot, for some reason, it's quicker to tie because you don't have to stuff the thread in there.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, it's a good trout fly of probably any kind, you know. Oh, I didn't have time to tie the.
Wait, you have time, you got as much time as you want.
You want me to? I can tie one more. It's a fast fly.
Anybody in a hurry?
We gotta wrap up pretty soon. I appreciate the offer, but
Okay.
I think we've
Guys
learned
coming to.
learned a lot tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
How
right, he's gonna lock
durable-
the door pretty soon.
Jeffrey?
Yeah. Pardon me?
So the durability of this thing, so you've got wire on the Mylar
Yep.
to protect, because the Mylar is the most tender.
Yeah. I tried them right away when I first went home. I tied some and I went out fishing, and especially for salmon. Right away, the Mylar unwound.
It's just on one.
First bite.
All right.
Yeah.
You're gonna go what? So yeah, you got to use a wire. You don't necessarily have to use as heavy a wire.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy wire.
Why don't we-
Yeah.
why don't we have our
But the other
people-
side of that is it's gonna bring it down faster too.
Yeah.
Well, they're
But
gonna-
the squirrel and so on and so forth, that lasts.
Oh yeah. Now, I'm a real believer in glue. So you know, if you wanna even get more mileage, before you put on your ice dubbing, put a spot of glue on the hair.
I got you.
You know,
Now, and, you know, they do have a water-based glue that they sell
Yes.
at the fly, which won't